46-hour dance marathon to help kids fight cancer.
Thon is the largest student-run philanthropy in the world, um, where students come together and to raise money for children with pediatric cancer.
46-hour dance marathon is also the largest student-run philanthropy in the world.
A student-run organization in order to raise money for childhood cancer.
Fundraising to raise money for childhood cancer and the victims and people who are going through it.
It's a 46-hour dance marathon in which we raise money for pediatric cancer.
We danced for like 46 hours to raise money for the Four Diamonds.
The 46-hour dance marathon.
The dance marathon that benefits kids with cancer.
It's a great fundraiser that students at Penn State take part in every year.
46-hour dance marathon benefiting the kids with pediatric cancer.
I like the cause that it supports, and I like seeing like all the students come together for one big cause.
I think it's a great idea overall, like the idea, it brings people together as well. And I really like the community that's come out of it, as well as the sense of solidarity.
I like that it helps kids and it's a really good cause.
It has a good purpose and it raises a lot of money for a childhood disease.
It's a good cause, and I think what we're doing is really helps and really shows that students can do more than just go to school.
I like that Greek life comes together for Thon, and I also like that the whole school comes together, not just Greek life, and then there's committees and there's just so many ways to get involved. And I heard when you get there, that's really what makes Penn State Penn State.
It gets the campus mobilized and excited. It teaches students empathy and helps them connect with others, and it gives them real world skills, I think, in fundraising and managing a giant event and being enthusiastic about someone else.
I like how we're really making an impact directly on kids' lives who really are struggling with cancer and helping fight.
I like how everyone gets together in the BJC, all of the sororities and fraternities to support the kids.
I don't like that sometimes people want there to be competition. I know that's a way to raise money. People like to be competitive, but I don't think that that's what the spirit of Thon should be about.
I don't like all the pressures that people or things in general put on us to raise money when it should just be about the kids.
I'll be honest, I've been out for the amount of time, and I think that standing the whole time is probably very bad for your joints and painful.
It's kind of over-politicized and it's kind of more about the Penn State students itself, it seems like, than the actual kids who were involved.
It's become a bit like of a competition between student organizations where it gets a bit cutthroat when it comes to canning and raising money. I know organizations that have paired with each other and dispaired with each other because they're not raising enough money, and it just has a very competitive vibe to it that it just didn't used to.
I feel forced to participate in activities.
Staying up for 46 hours straight can get tired.
I think it's too draining, it's too much of an effort. It's 46 hours, I think someone's going to get hurt someday. I think there's a lot of bureaucracy that doesn't need to exist, and I think there's maybe some coercion involved, and it's not always the smartest way to raise money for pediatric cancer, and so I think in some ways it could be adjusted if the total is the most important thing, which it seems to be. Then I think we can really think how we do something fundraising activities.
Some students view Thon as an event that is only open to certain clubs and organizations, prominent ones including Greek life, Thon committees, and sports teams. These organizations attempt to make their involvement in Thon known, even by displaying their organization names proudly at the actual event. This has led students outside of these organizations to wonder if they are even supposed to join the cause. There's also restrictions when it comes to participation, and it's often very competitive in terms of choosing positions each year, such as Thon captains and dancers. One student even raised over $19,000 for Thon, but was not picked to be a dancer. Therefore, all students are technically encouraged to participate in Thon, yet there are limits to how students can participate in Thon, as well as who can serve as these positions.
Penn State has over 1,000 clubs and organizations, but Thon is arguably the most advertised of them all. It's because of this advertisement that students feel compelled to get involved even just shortly after arriving on campus. Students have stated that even on tours, Thon is the only organization specifically mentioned.
While it might seem odd to people who enjoy being heavily involved in Thon, some people see Thon as a chore. Even students who have specific reasons as to why they cannot participate in Thon feel guilty about not being able to join in on what a majority of the community seems to be doing. After being asked why they didn't partake in Thon weekend, an anonymous student lied in fear of being ridiculed. This was exposed in an interview with Onward State. The truth is they don't know that my health does not allow me to partake in Thon at all, the student said. I have back problems that would be impossible for me to stand up for more than 1 hour without being in severe pain and epilepsy. I once told someone about it and their reply was, if kids with cancer can make it to the event, I think you can. So ever since that day, I've supported Thon from home.
And if health problems are an issue before the event, imagine the health problems that the dancers experience during and after the event. Being awake for 46 hours, let alone not being able to sit, is undeniably detrimental to one's health. This task is meant to symbolize the struggles a child cancer patient may face on a day-to-day basis, but is it really making a statement when 2 days later everyone goes back to the comfort of their daily routine?
One of the biggest highlights of Thon happens near the very end of the event, which is the grand reveal of the total funds raised throughout the year. Proudly displayed on stage with large letters, it's clear to see that the Thon totals is often thought of as one of the most important, if not the most important, parts of Thon. Therefore, in order to ensure that the total increases every year, organizations often feel pressured to do everything they can to outdo the fundraising they did the previous year. For this reason, students often feel forced to fundraise, almost as if they have no other choice. Yet, they are encouraged to remember that the work they are doing is for a good cause and will be quote-unquote worth it in the end.
In the midst of all the canning, Thon-veloping, and other Thon-related events and fundraisers, the Penn State community and other Thon lovers are criticized because to some people, it appears as though Thon-involved students are putting Thon over their schoolwork. It's almost as if the organizations have forgotten why these students are here in the first place, to get an education. In no way, shape, or form should a student's academic success be sacrificed for the sake of Thon. It could even be argued that the families of the Thon children would be devastated to know that PSU students are slacking in school to help them out. Yes, the families are probably appreciative that students are giving up partying time to give back to them, but the Thon community as a whole should remember that the families that are affected by Thon have children and know the importance of education and the prioritization of work and academic success. This is yet another issue with Thon, and one of the main issues that the organization leaders tend to forget.
The final criticism of Thon is the competitive nature that drives the focus of many organizations. Sadly, in many cases, the families and children are not the focus, and instead the money is. Organizations feel pressured to make the list of top fundraising organizations, specifically those awarded with the Lion Stride achievement. The Thon organization in general may even have focus issues. Another criticism is that Thon is perceived to be for the kids, but when it comes down to it, 74% of the funds are raised for experimental therapeutics and research, while only 12% of funds are actually for the kids and for patient and family support.
Fortunately for the future of Thon, the negative aspects that at one time were not so publicly addressed are finally beginning to get exposed. While for years, from a distance, Thon and the events surrounding it have appeared to be squeaky clean, those who are involved have begun to generate a different point of view. Thon has not always been this way, even though the stigma around it may lead new and prospective students to believe so. While the positives of Thon are undeniable, the kairotic moments of this year's fight against pediatric cancer have finally opened doors, allowing individuals to speak out without fear of ostracization.